Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for IDW Sonic the Hedgehog issue 40. This video is about a week late, and contrary to everything I expected, 41 actually came out on time, only a week after 40 did. It came out yesterday. Normally, I would do both videos at once, or both issues at once, like I normally do with my manga videos, but because this issue is the end of an arc, and next issue Ian Flynn is taking back over as writer, at least for at least one arc. I decided it was probably best to do the end of Test Run in one video and the beginning of Zeddy Hunt in another, which will probably come out tomorrow. But anyway, as for Sonic itself, when we last left our heroes, Sonic, Tails, and Amy were still in that sort of, deserted suburbia, and something happened that I think it was Tangle and Belle attacking Orbot and Cubot. Accidentally led the three of them get the gravity flipped, and they fell into another dimension where they had to fight an electric-themed Egg Viper, which they did. They won fairly easily, but then a fire, water, and wind-themed Egg Viper rose in its place for like a 3-on-3 kind of deal. Meanwhile, Tangle had kind of been, corralling Orbot and Cubot, and somehow, I forget the details because this arc is just really weird, got a portal to what she thinks and should be the dimensional area place where, Sonic, Tails, and Amy are, and goes off to help them out. And that's where we left off last time. Our picture here is a nice, the core cast of the arc: Sonic dragging everyone along, Sonic, Belle, Amy, Tails, Tangle, and Orbot and Cubot hanging on to Tangle's tail. Alright, our story so far, basically what I said. The Egg Vipers are showing up. Eggman sort of using this as a test run for new and interesting badniks. The Vipers getting the best of Sonic, Tails, and Amy. Belle and Tangle sort of working out their need to get to the Viper dimension. And Tangle going in maybe alone, maybe with Belle. It was kind of unclear. Our roll call has Sonic, Amy, Tails, Tangle, Belle, and Eggman. And with all of that, let's finally get to the fucking meat of the issue. As we open kind of where we left off, with the art style has kind of changed, honestly. It's a lot flatter than it normally is. It's a nice look, especially for a climactic issue like this. As Eggman in the Water Viper taunts Sonic, Tails, and Amy. Having fun yet? I know I am. As they all narrowly dodge a blast from the Fire Viper. And then Sonic is just hosed down by the Water Viper. God, he hits the ground. Tails and Amy look at him in shock. The Fire Viper taunts the two of them. It's about time we wrap this up, though. And Amy is sort of nervously, don't worry, Tails. And Sonic looks back at them, dripping wet, in shock. I'll make it quick, this is Eggman. After all, I'm a busy man. And there's now a ring of fire encroaching on Tails and Amy. Sonic runs after them, his shoes dripping water. And he jumps onto the Fire Viper. Hey, Doc! And then he jumps from the Fire Viper into the ring of fire, I think. I'm not quite sure why he bothers with the Fire Viper instead of going straight for the Ring of Fire, but there might be something I'm missing there. He sort of pushes Tails and Amy down. Heads down, guys. Thanks for the shower. But I think you need one more. And somehow he gets the Water Viper to splash the Fire one. I'm not quite sure how. Shocking Eggman. Oh, no! And then the Wind Viper then shows up, I think, on the attack, and Sonic has kind of predicted it. Right on time. Amy, give me a boost. Huh? Tails can? No time. Get me up there. Instead of Tails, fighting it in the air, Amy's just gonna, gulp him up, if you say so. And Sonic goes into a spin, Amy readies her hammer, and bounces him up. It's more of an upwards thing than a kind of whack like I was thinking. But Sonic pops up right in front of the Air Viper. No blow dry? What kind of salon are you running here? You infuriating little... and he tries to blow Sonic away. Oh, he does blow Sonic away. Blows Sonic right into the Water Viper. This is making much more like cohesive sense than the bit with the hosing down the Fire Viper did. Yeah, that's a neat little deception Sonic pulled there. And Tails pulls Sonic up. He's kind of woozy after getting slammed into an Egg Viper. Are you okay? Never better. Say, when did you get 4 tails? But just then, all 3 of them are slammed down in the Egg Viper's gusts. As Eggman is, angry now. No more fun and games. Meanwhile, above, Tangle is, she's here, she is ready for some action. Who's ready to... Gah! And she falls right onto the Viper, not really doing any damage besides giving herself, a concussion. But she lands mostly alright. Tangle? What? I was in the area, and I thought I'd drop by. Interestingly enough, we see the Fire Viper is still rising. And the Water Viper. And the Fire Viper is maybe okay, but the Water Viper is destroyed. It's clearly, we see it's physically destroyed. The Fire, I just kind of figured short-circuited a little. But the blue one is down for the count, but we see there's a third Viper in the smoke. So I don't know what that's supposed to be. Anyway, Tangle continues. I was in the area and I thought I'd drop by. I hope you left me something to smash. And back in the main dimension, we see, by the way, Tangle is, still tied to the main dimension. I think she did that last time. I just kind of forgot about it. Along with still tying up Orbot and Cubot. Cubot turns to Belle. Miss, might I inquire? And Belle stops him. I'm not an Eggman robot. At least, not oh, I don't know, it's complicated. And she just kind of looks away, almost in shame. Do you know him? The boss? Sure, we're his right-hand robots. What do you do for him? So we're seeing this sort of very, very interesting... Belle kind of wants to get to know him. Almost he's her father. Which is the exact word he's been using the past 7 or 8 issues. This is, it has a sort of sense of an estranged father, and she kind of wants to get to know him no matter how kind of shitty he is. Anyway, she asks, what do you do for him? Nothing special. Cook, clean, make coffee. He's very particular about that. Nice and strong, no milk. And then Belle chimes in, and lots of sugar. Which must be how Mr. Tinker took his coffee. Maybe it's the same as Eggman, maybe not, who knows. But just then, the kind of, handheld console she's holding erupts. What are you 2 nincompoops doing? Why didn't you tell me that blasted lemur had gotten in? Eek! And she kind of, jumps, in panic. These little pests are making a mess of... Wait, what was that voice? Engaging autopilot. And he takes off the VR visor and looks at Belle, because it's a video screen. Well, what do we have here? Unconventional material, but I'd recognize that joint design anywhere. There's only one person on this planet who builds machines like that. Me. So yeah, no denying it now. I mean, we all knew for several issues now, but at this point there is no denying Belle's heritage. Yes, you're the little helper I put together when I was delusional, thinking I was some sort of small-town inventor. So yeah, again, Eggman is just leaving it all clear. Even in that impaired state, I was still innovating. Remind me, what did Mr. Tinker call you? And Belle just the shock of having the reading I'm getting from Belle here is that she intellectually knew she's an Eggman robot at this point. All of the evidence is pointing to that. She's told Tangle that. But there's a whole extra dimension between something that, like, you know because you've thought it through, and you know because the person who knows everything has told you. And now there's no denying it. It has been confirmed to you. You have to deal with it now. And that's sort of the difference that Belle is experiencing right now. Anyway, but Belle the Tinkerer. And Eggman, like, grins this sadistic little grin. How sweet. Don't go anywhere. I have questions for you. But first, I have a hedgehog I need to crush. And Belle tries to stop him. Wait, you can't. Sorry, I mean, you wouldn't. And Eggman kind of pauses, questioning. You wouldn't do something like this, not without a reason. Please, tell me that this isn't what it looks like. I mean, he wouldn't. And Eggman sort of pauses. You cared for my alter ego. Very well, I'll give you a reason. Let me tell you about the tower you find yourself in. For a man of my intellectual caliber, the restraints of reality can, at times, become stifling. Merely tinkering within the limits of our banal world no longer satisfies. That's where this place comes in. Behold, I have bent the laws of physics themselves to my will. This maze grows and folds back on itself ad infinitum, a labyrinth without peer. The robots I've sent in will burn out long before they escape. One day we'll have the resilience to hold even Sonic, and he isn't nearly so durable. Next, a model, and so these are specifically the individual worlds. We had seen these sort of like overlays of the worlds, and I figured it was just like sort of he's monologuing and we're just seeing them, and it's kind of random which lines go over what. But it's specifically those first lines are above the maze labyrinth from part 1 that Sonic outran. And then this next bit is back in our little deserted suburbia. Next, a model of sorts. A perfect simulation of a tragically imperfect world, not yet under my control. I can test how quickly my badnik hordes can overtake a town to recruit a fresh crop of unsuspecting test subjects. Oh, and I especially like this. A new way for my... And this is over the quasi-badniks. A new way for my badniks to evolve, discovering new ways to best dominate whatever environment they find themselves in. Every generation will reveal new and terrifying adaptations. There's more, but the finer points of my brilliance would no doubt be lost on you. So tell me, what makes your precious toy maker worthy of such admiration in the face of my unrestrained genius? And Belle, either in rage or in shock, drops the screen, cracking it. And it's definitely a shock. She falls to her knees, head in hands. That, as Cubot just like nonchalantly, that sure is the boss. And just then we hear a noise. Belle looks at it kind of confused, and the portal that Tangle went through is now kind of overloading almost. We see like the green of the portal sort of coming outside of the doors of it. Why is it doing that? And Cubot helpfully responds, that would be the gate overloading. It's not safe to leave something in the energy field for long. It could cause a feedback loop. Oh geez, why didn't you say something? And Cubot, you didn't ask. And Belle starting to get very nervous now. What happens if there's a feedback loop? What you'd expect. Rapid expansion of the energy field until it collapses under its own weight and implodes. Don't worry, destruction by implosion is quick and entirely painless. That line bringing us back to the Egg Viper fight, focusing on Tangle, who is very close to imploding if Belle does not stop her. But she goes a kick at one of the Air Egg Viper's vents. Incoming! And Amy, wielding like the scorpion tail of the Fire Viper, tears into the Air Viper. Ha! And Sonic has like wrapped up the already destroyed Water Viper, or maybe there's a new Water Viper. I'm still kind of a little bit uncertain on that. But I have one complaint with this issue, is that there's a little bit too much uncertainty going on with this fight scene. Anyway, Sonic comments on Amy's new choice of weapon. That's a new look. It's nice to branch out a little from time to time. And Tails and Tangle approach the group, and Tails asks, "Hey, does Eggman seem awfully quiet to anyone else?" And then Eggman comes back to what's left of his 3 egg vipers. So the interesting thing here is that the air one is clearly showing the damage from Tangle and Amy's assault on it, but the water one does not show the impact of Sonic's destroying it at the beginning of the issue. It's a really weird continuity error, unless there is a hidden second water viper that we just hadn't known about yet. I don't know. Anyway, autopilot disengaged. Ah! And he looks around. What have you animals been doing to my beautiful machines? I've had just about enough. And it looks like he's sending in the egg vipers as kamikazes. Try and dodge this. And Tangle, who's still connected. Oh, I know what's right about to happen. She's still connected to the portal, and she calls to Sonic and the gang, "Up here!" And any moment now, Belle, in order to stop Tangle from imploding, is going to unloose the thing and send them falling back down. Anyway, they get out of the way on Tangle. Tails is flying on his own. Hurry! I am! The platform they were on is falling beneath them. Any second now. Tails is actually... So I think at some point Amy let go of Sonic and is now being carried by Tails, as Tails tells them, "We can do it!" And they actually all make it through the portal. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought that Belle would have to make the sacrifice and, or not really a sacrifice, but throw into complications thanks to that feedback loop, but I guess nothing really happened because of it. But Belle runs up to Tails. "Ah, quick! It's too late to stop it. We've got to get out before it overloads completely." Before what overloads? Oh, no, the feedback loop is still happening. Even with or without Tangle at this point. The gate! Look! And we see the gate is very clearly overloading. And Tangle's nearly zapped by something. Gah! And some, loose debris is sort of bouncing towards it. It's pulling stuff in, Amy notes. And the gang all leave. Orbot and Cubot hanging onto Tangle's tail, which might be leading us into our cover. Sonic tells them, "Okay, yeah, let's get going." But now they're getting pulled in even more. It's getting stronger! And Sonic asks Orbot and Cubot, "Hey, you two, what's the fastest way out of here?" "Straight ahead and take a right into the loading bay." "Got it. Everybody, grab on!" And all of the organic characters grab onto Sonic's arms as he just dashes out of there, trying to save their lives. And he makes it onto the tornado with Orbot and Cubot, who are still attached to Tangle. Belle also makes it on. I was including Belle in the organic characters earlier. That was not quite correct, but you know what I mean. Everyone is now on the tornado, and it flies away as we hear this crunch sound effect coming from the tower, and it all just kind of explodes. Or implodes. It just completely collapses in on itself. The resulting energy shocks Eggman's VR visor. Bzz, gah, ugh. It kind of sits back, not really defeated, but a little bit tired, slightly injured, as everyone else flies away on the tornado. Give me a sec. So Tails is now sort of reading out his, looking at his readings on his plane. Curious. I'm not picking up any sign of the tower. It's completely disappeared. And Tangle points out Orbot and Cubot, who are still just hanging out on her tail. Hey, should we do something about this? And Amy sort of scratches her head. The Restoration's not about to start taking prisoners. But Belle stops them. Let them go. They're not the one who did this. We're seeing Belle very much having a sympathy for her fellow bots. I'm curious how that is going to shape the coming story arcs. I know the next arc is very Zavok heavy, so I don't know if it'll come into play there, but we'll see. Sonic agrees. She's right. Whatever they do now is not our call. I'm curious what people think about that, because that's the same mindset that Sonic had at the end of the Battle for Angel Island, when he let Metal Sonic go, which is like there's a direct line from letting Metal Sonic go to the Metal Virus saga, and Sonic doesn't quite seem to acknowledge that. I'm not quite sure he should. Like, they don't really have prisons in the Restoration. Maybe they should, though. If they're at war with Eggman. It's not as much a war as like the Resistance days, but it still is kind of a war. So Tangle thinks, so what? We just toss him off the plane? And Orbot is on board with that. Yes, this is the perfect opportunity for Cubot and I to take a small sabbatical. And Cubot agrees, yeah, and a vacation. We're pooped. They're just getting away from him. And Sonic is on board. I can dig it. You should try and get Metal to play hooky too next time. And Orbot and Cubot go flying away. Rest and relaxation, here we come! As they just toss them into the water. I guess they can survive that. You know what? Good on them. Good on them. Get away from it all for a while. Betray Eggman, that'll be fun. But after a little while, Tails calls up to Belle. Belle? Are you okay? And Belle is just... She's still sitting, like, hunched up on the plane. Yes. No, I'm fine. Nothing happened. And there's this long pause, everyone looks at her. That's not true. And she then goes on to tell them everything. I was built by a man named Mr. Tinker. Sonic, you saved him once. When he disappeared, people told me he'd been a monster all along. That he was Dr. Eggman. I didn't believe it. I couldn't. I thought that if I could just talk to him, he'd understand and explain, and she can't say anything as the tears just come. So look, I've had my problems with this arc. I've thought that the mechanics of the tower have just been a little bit too weird. I never quite understood what was going on in a meaningful way. But if all of that was necessary for this, for Belle on the tornado at sunset or sunrise or whatever, just bearing her soul and weeping in the wind, then it was fucking worth it. This is the moment of Test Run right here. This is the moment of, the 8 issues of the Stanley run. And I don't know if Stanley's coming back post Zeddy Hunt. I don't exactly know the drama going on there. But if this is, the end of Evan Stanley's run for at least the foreseeable future, this is the way to go out. With just Belle bearing her soul. And Amy is tearing up at that. Oh no. And Tangle looks away. That really sucks. But hey. And she, goes to sort of pat Belle's head with her tail, which is a really cute image. Honestly, Tangle's just the best. I love Tangle so much. She pairs well with everyone. Tangle and Whisper, obviously, but Tangle and Belle, too, have just had a really great dynamic. And she comforts Belle. You helped do something good today. Your dad would have been proud of you for that, right? And Belle kind of considers it. Oh, I guess he would. Yeah. Although I'm not sure what I'm going to tell Jewel about all this. Right? They fucking, stole the shit from Jewel. But Tails tells them, good news. With the tower gone, it looks like the storm is starting to break up. It should be a smooth flight back. And we just end with the 5 of them on the tornado. A gorgeous sunrise and or set. I feel like it was night at one point, but that might have been the storm. But either way, a gorgeous full-page panel. Next time, the Deadly Six return. Okay, so I think I made my thoughts on this issue and this arc as a whole very clear. The fight itself is kind of hard to make sense of. I don't know. Like looking back to the page where Sonic smashes the Viper, that looks definitively like it's down for the count, but it's very clearly there for the rest of the issue. If you look at the fight itself, the continuity, don't know. It just sort of doesn't quite register in the way it maybe should. Um, but there are two absolute standout moments of this issue, both of which are surrounding Belle. Um, you know, the moment where she has to kind of take in that there is no explanation that Eggman can give to like justify what people are saying about him. He is just as evil as she has heard. And she was created by the arch villain of the planet. And she has to kind of take that in. No more denying it, no more explanations. That is just the truth. And that's great. Her dropping the Eggman iPad in shock is very, very good. And then we get some more action, which is, it's fine. And then we get that plane scene, which is such a good capstone to this arc. We had a little bit of comedy with the Orbot Cubot bit, which is pretty funny. And then it's Belle just bearing her soul. I love the crying panel. It's just good. It's just a good fucking panel right there. Nothing else to it but that. But yeah, with that, the Deadly Six are back next time. The aftermath of Bad Guys. I'll probably have to like refresh my Bad Guys memory to remember quite how Zavok left off at the end of that. But that'll be fun. It's back with Ian Flynn, who is a fantastic Sonic writer, as we all know. And he did a lot of great things with Zavok in both the Metal Virus Saga and Bad Guys. So I want to see that. I want to see more of that. I want to see. I think it's like Zavok looking for the Deadly Six are still like scattered post Metal Virus Saga, right? So yeah, very, very excited for that. I'll get to that probably tomorrow. I think it's pretty unlikely I'll do it tonight, but maybe, who knows. But yeah, that's Test Run. That's Evan Stanley's first run on Sonic. It had its ups and downs, but what a note to lead out on there. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye.